Bum is better. His fever finally broke a day after the doctor touched his neck. He crawls into bed at 3 in the morning into Sangwoo's arms and presses his face into Sangwoo's chest. Bum must be tired. But for the first time in a week, when Sangwoo touches him, he's not shaking. His skin isn't burning and he's breathing regularly. He's not talking in his sleep or twisting uncontrollably either. Bum is better. And Sangwoo fucking hates it. While Bum was feverish, he was earnest. He reacted the way Sangwoo wanted him to, when he wanted him to. Healthy Bum does whatever he wants. This sort of boldness, crawling into his bed like a cheap whore. This has to be corrected immediately. It pisses him off more than anything else. When breakfast rolls around, Sangwoo wakes up alone with the smell of food cooking in the kitchen. He doesn't want Bum to cook. He wants Bum to laze in bed all day and cling to Sangwoo for comfort. What is he doing? Why is he being so awful? Sangwoo gets dressed, then standing up, pulling a pair of sweats on. While he looks around the room for a shirt, he sees Bum's pile of dirty clothing. The clothing Sangwoo told him he would wash as soon as Bum got better, and it's just laying there. Sangwoo bends down and picks up the blouse, pressing it to his face. It smells like sweat, like panic sweat and the dry soap Bum uses. When did he clean himself? A hint of detergent and dust. He leans down and picks up the skirt and presses it to his face. Sweat and dust and detergent, and is that chlorine? Really faint chlorine? He turns the skirt inside out and sees the dried jizz he was expecting to find. He can feel the anger crawling under his skin. He's about to stamp it down to just move on. He's already turned his head to move on when he sees the pair of panties he picked out for Bum laying on the floor. He can barely focus for a second. Everything is swimming. When the clothes are in the wash, he walks to the kitchen. Bum is sitting in his stupid rolling chair. He gives Sangwoo a smile that would take too much effort to return. He sits at the head of the table. He doesn't have an appetite. You feel better? Sangwoo asks. The answer is obvious from the sly smile Bum gives him. That yes, he is. A lot, Bum nods, rolling closer to him. I guess I just had to wait it out. Sangwoo nods. He can't taste the food when he puts it into his mouth, so it's a lost point now. He pushes it away and waits for Bum to clean up. When Bum doesn't, Sangwoo looks at him. You've barely touched it, he mumbles, and he has the gall to look sad. Is it not... You don't like it? I'm not hungry. Oh. Bum nods. The food is still on the table, right where it's been for 5 minutes now. Sangwoo stares at it. You gonna clean it up? Oh, right. Bum nods, moving quickly. And even that's wrong. It's not fast enough or slow enough. Sangwoo wants to rip his hair out or Bum's hair out. His hands itch. When Bum is by the sink and the dishes, Sangwoo stands up. Are you leaving? You want me to? No. Bum swivels around to catch his eye before lowering his eyes. No, I was wondering. Just wondering, Sangwoo says wistfully before giving Bum a big smile. I have a surprise for you, actually. He hadn't planned on doing what he's about to do. He had no intention in the slightest. The thought hadn't even crossed his mind, but now it's a nice way to restart the system, to purge this filth from everyone in the house. It's a balancing act, it's good, it's a good thing. Bum's hands are already shaking, and just like that, things are already better. Yeah, this he likes. This is something he's alright with. You didn't have to, Bum says, and it's too straight and too curt to be comfortable. Good. It's the least I could do, to celebrate your recovery. Sangwoo claps his hands and watches Bum jolt. You'll like it, I'm sure. I think it's really great. You shouldn't have. Oh, no, it's no bother. Come on. Sangwoo stands up. No bother in the slightest. Here, I'll help you. He picks up Bum in a bridal carry. Put your arms around my neck. You want to be safe, don't you? Bum obliges with shaking hands. Yes, good. The basement is dark, but that's not unusual. The usual strong scent of bleach is completely overtaken by the smell of piss, shit and vomit. Sangwoo sets Bum on the floor and he hasn't said a word. You're not appreciating this? Sangwoo asks, tilting his head. He didn't do anything wrong, Bum mumbles. He touched you, Sangwoo says with a smile, and it's not leaving any time soon. The shadow of the doctor looms over Bum. The man himself, whatever his name was, he's tied straight up, ramrod. Sangwoo really outdid himself with this one, he thinks. Half of his chest is flayed, the loose skin hanging off him in strips. He's in headphones and a blindfold. He's been there the whole day. But he's alive. He's still alive. The shallow rise and fall of his chest attest to that much at least. He steps behind the man, keeping an eye on Bum, trailing his fingers very gently up the man's ribs, up and down, until the man begins to stir, and he's shaking under Sangwoo's hand. Really, that's the way everything should be. He reaches up to pluck the headphones off. How have you been? Sangwoo asks, his fingers dancing gently over exposed skin. Lonely, huh? Don't worry, I brought someone with me today, to keep you company. You know him, actually. He snaps a finger in Bum's direction. Go on. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Bum mumbles because he's boring and everything he does is boring and disappointing. Why does Sangwoo bother with anything? Recognize him? The doctor nods, making little panting noises. It would probably be hard to yell without a tongue. That's right. The fever delusions. Sangwoo's fingers seem to be making the guy very ticklish. Lucky for you, he's going to be helping me today. Sangwoo claps his hand down on the man's chest and there's a pained groan. Bum is going to be in charge of how fast you die. What? Sangwoo looks back to Bum on the floor. He looks green. Good. It's his colour. See, Bum didn't really appreciate you touching him in his sleep. That's a creepy thing to do, you know. Sangwoo rests his head on the man's shoulders. So Bum is going to cut your fingers off. What? One by one. Sangwoo is not going to be interrupted. The man is thrashing at his restraints. Shh. Sangwoo says and waits while the two hysterical children stop whining. One by one. And when they're all gone, I'm going to slit your throat. It won't even hurt by that point. My knives are very sharp, I promise. He pats the man's face before reaching up and pulling his hands down. I would give you a chair, but you're filthy and incontinent, and I don't want to ruin a chair. He pushes him down on his knees. Sangwoo. What? Sangwoo asks, walking around and getting down to Bum's level. What's the matter? You don't like my surprise? I worked so hard on it for you. You do like it, right? He grips Bum's face between his fingers and Bum tries to nod desperately. Yes, thank you. See? He turns to the man. You're making him so happy. You're serving a greater purpose, just like you wanted. He's up again with a renewed sense of purpose. This feels good. This feels right. He picks up a butcher's knife, transfers it from one hand to the other to feel the weight. This'll do just fine. Sangwoo, I don't... What? Thank you. He mumbles again. There you go, that's the attitude. Sangwoo hands Bum the cleaver. He grabs the man's hands. He pushes them flat on the floor, keeping them there by pressing his foot down on the palm. Whenever you're ready. I don't think I can. Ah, don't be silly, of course you can. It's just lifting a knife and letting it fall. And he's in so much pain, Bum. Don't you want to be a good person? Don't you want to take his pain away? I can't. Do you need help? Sangwoo is at his back immediately. Give me a hand. No, the one with the knife, yes. With his other hand, he holds the man's hand flat on the floor. Easy. We lift the knife up. He lifts it way higher than necessary. And then we bring the knife down. And with more force than necessary, cuts clean through the man's pinky. Easy. Now you can do it. Sangwoo! He touched you in your sleep, Bum. He touched your neck. He could have killed you easily. But he didn't, Bum says. He drops the cleaver and it clatters on the floor. Look at him, Sangwoo says, his voice deep. You're hurting him by not doing this. He's going to bleed out like this, and who knows how long that's going to last. And if that doesn't kill him, Sangwoo nudges the exposed muscle and the man thrashes. This infection will. But... You're doing him a service, Bum. A service. Here, I know it's heavy. I'll lift it up for you. And holding Bum's hand, which was in turn holding the knife, lifts it up over the head and lets go. Bum must not have expected him to let go because the cleaver, the way it falls, it takes 3 fingers in one go, flying past both of their heads and splattering Bum with blood. He starts shaking his head desperately. Please, I can't. You've already done 3, it's only 6 left. Come on, Bum. Make his last moments less painful. I'm sorry. Bum whines, shaking his head. Alright. Horse to water and all that. He sits down on the cold concrete. Bum looks confused, and are those tears? Yeah, he's crying again. Good. I told you, he's not dying until all those fingers are gone. So we're gonna sit here and wait. But that's not fair. Then cut his fucking fingers off. The doctor writhes. Bum, in an act of horror, probably lifts up the knife and starts swinging down, taking off 2 more. Sangwoo watches Bum. Bum shaking and crying, covered in blood, recklessly hacking at a man's hand, actively propelling him to death, has Sangwoo hard. He shoves a hand down the front of his sweaters and jerks himself off, listening to Bum cry and the metal hit concrete. And there it is. The system reset.